you've got all the attributes that you in your book. I guess Mrs. Diviney's everyone's got these attributes, but you guys must complement each other on different things then.
We absolutely do. And really what you're talking about is this is what high performing teams are made up of, right? And high performing teams, by the way, people think of SEAL teams, they think of athletic teams, they think of business teams. A team is just a group of one or more people or two or more people working together towards a common goal or objective, which tells us that teams, a great marriage is a high performing team, a great friendship is a high performing team, right? And they are such because they complement each other both in skill and attributes. And so the attributes that I might be a little bit shy on, my wife supplements because she's high on, and then vice versa. And so that really begins to set up a situation where you can really effectively lean on each other when you just don't have enough in your tank, and that's the essence of a great team. It's the essence of a great marriage. It's the essence of a great relationship.
And I just wondered whether you've got a view on, companies moving forward. Should they really be worried about a person's educational level over attributes?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's certainly so the difference the difference I describe in the book is the difference between skills and attributes. And skills are these things that are not inherent. That we learn them, we train them. Things like riding a bike, driving a car. They direct our behavior. They tell us what to do in known situations. Therefore, we can very easily assess, measure, and test them, which is why most selection processes and most businesses, when they're hiring, look primarily at skills, because you can see exactly what someone's sales numbers are. Someone can write it on a resume. It's just easy. You can see the stats, right? The stats are easy to read. The problem is that those skills don't tell us how people operate when things go south and sideways and things get uncertain and dirty and rough. And that's where attributes come in, because attributes are more elemental. In fact, they are elemental. Things like patience and adaptability and situational awareness, we're born with levels of those. We can see it in small kids. They inform our behavior rather than direct. So they tell us how we're going to show up to a situation. And because they're hidden, they're hard to see. They're the most visible actually when we're in stress and challenge, right?
Yeah.
Because in a known environment, in an unknown environment, it's hard to apply a known skill. Okay, so we're leaning on these attributes. So businesses really have to consider in their hiring processes what the difference is, because they get conflated. Skills and attributes get conflated all the time. Which are the skills that they're looking for and which are their attributes? And I would imagine if they're in an environment in business where things are more dynamic and a little bit more uncertain or have a tendency to go those directions, I would recommend that they begin to prefer and bias towards attributes versus just skills, which then tells us that maybe the education that the guy with the business degree might not be the best candidate, or might not be as good as the lady who just finished digging wells in Africa, right?
Yeah.
Because she's had this experience of dealing with people and has developed attributes that are much more and could probably be more valuable and important than someone coming out of school. So I would say both are important. But it's really up to the businesses and the teams to understand the differences and the distinctions so that they may make the right choices.
Yeah, that's it. It is about making the right choices, but also it's that person's got to make the right choices. But I was thinking about it from, this could be a real game changer actually, because I think there's a kind of a lost, not generation, but there's a ton of people out there which are sort of, they're holding themselves back because of their perception that businesses and owners are looking at educational achievement,
yes,
rather than their inherent qualities that are inside them that would make them suitable for that job. And I think this is where something like this is just going to open up so many new channels for people, I think.
I hope it does, because I think this is how we start to get around biases and judgments, because we start looking at the reality of things. There's nothing wrong. I mean, education is wonderful, and should you be able to pursue it. But ultimately, you don't want as a business just to be hiring someone because they have a piece of paper that says that they come from a certain school. Because the joke, and you've probably heard it too. I mean, the last or the bottom graduate of medical school is called? Doctor. Okay, they're all called doctor because they even though he's the bottom of the class, right? He's still called a doctor, right? So you don't know. It only tells us. Education will only tell us so much. Certainly, someone has been through the wickets of understanding the material. but can they actually operate in environments? And that's when attributes start to come to the fore.